up, guys? Got a great video blog for you, and it's a topic that comes in from several people. Okay, I have gotten a numerous amount of messages from a great amount of people asking me the same exact question. And it's a great question because it's something that took me a long time to figure out when I was first starting my transformation process, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And the question is, how long should my workouts be? You know, the total duration of my lift session, how long should it be? 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours? How long? And it's a great question. So let's jump into this, guys. Let me first start off by saying that there is not a set time that I can tell you guys and advise you guys to stick to. I can't just say 45 minutes and you're out of there. 30 minutes, 15 minutes, abs, and you're out of there. Okay, I can't say an hour and a half. I can't say an hour. Everything is different. There's too many variables in this game to say that you have to stick to this concrete duration. There's just too many parts, guys, too many factors, depending on your starting point and what your end goal is. You know, what's your intensity levels and your endurance levels, your overall strength levels? You know, what's your diet like, your overall daily activity? What's your body type, ecto, endo, mesomorph? What are your goals? There's so many different variables and factors. I cannot just give you guys one concrete answer, but I can give you guys some generalizations. And I want you guys to take everything I say with a grain of salt. Take it in, digest it, and then apply it. And see how it works for you. And really hone in and get down to the details and tailor it to your needs and your body type. And all those variables I just listed. And make it customized to you. Okay? Just because if I say 45 minutes, don't be afraid to go 50 minutes or 55, 46 minutes, you know. Apply all the information I give you and tailor it to your needs and your body. Okay? So with that being said, it's a great segue for me to say that transforming is both an art and a science. Okay? You have to learn how to dial this information in and tailor it to yourself. Now, I'm going to describe what has worked best for me and some of my friends and my colleagues and give you as much information that's quality but was relevant to us and to myself. And you're going to take this information, apply it, and make it relevant to you. So let's get into this. Depending on your goals, whether you're fat burning, muscle building, or strength training, there's a few generalizations we can get into. If you are trying to burn fat, your workout, total duration of your lift might be, 45 minutes to an hour. Fast pace, very fast pace. And it's going to be your rest in between sets is going to be anywhere, 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Very fast, high pace. Your body isn't going to have a lot of time to recover in between sets. Sometimes you're not even looking at the watch. What you're doing is going off of the time it takes you to get to the next set. And that's an example of if you're doing circuit training or if you're stripping the weight down. So if you're on bench press and you're doing 45-pound plates, you do your sets, 15. You're probably doing like 15 plus reps because you're trying to burn fat. So you're going quickly, boom, 15 reps are done. You go and strip the weight down, go down to 35s, and then you hit it again. And so you're not looking at the watch, you're just going off of how long it takes you to strip the weight and change it. That's one example of burning fat. Another example might be you're doing 15 reps, 4 sets, 15 reps. So you do 45, and then you rest 30 seconds. And then you do 45, 15 reps again. You rest 30 seconds and repeat, 4 sets, whatever your split is. That's an example of fat burning. Okay, so 45 minutes to an hour, generalization now, and it's going to be very high pace, 30 to 45 second rest in between sets. Okay, now if you're trying to be building muscle, it's going to be slightly increased in terms of your duration, where it's going to be more like 45 minutes to an hour total duration in your workout, and the rest periods, depending on your conditioning level, is going to be around 45 seconds to a minute in between sets. And this is going to also incorporate supersets and drop sets. Maybe you're drop setting at the last drop setting at the last set, or you're doing 110 methods, you're doing stripping methods, cannonball sets, different variations to shock the body and shock the muscle at the end of that set and that iteration. Strength training, completely different, way different. If you're doing like 1 to 3 reps, you're going to be doing some heavy lifting, and you're really going to be focusing on the strength of the muscle. And so you're going to be in the gym most likely an hour to 2 hours, and your rest in between these sets is going to be, I mean, this really varies. It really comes down to when you're ready to lift that next load, but that can be anywhere between 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes. I know guys that go 5 minutes in between sets. If they're doing, 1 rep maxes on deadlifts or squats, they go until they feel like they're ready, because the nervous system is getting shocked heavily. And so they wait a little while, breathe out a little bit of the CO2, catch their breath, let their nervous system get back to normal levels, and then they hit it again, and they're lifting heavy. So their total duration of their workout is going to be longer, because their rest periods are going to be much, much longer than if you're muscle building or burning fat. So those are some generalizations, guys. There is also a rule of thumb that is, you have to take this with a grain of salt. Now, because it's like, for me, for example, I don't utilize this principle or this ideology, but there is some great truth behind it, where if you are resting in between sets for 1.5 minutes, then your overall workout should be about 1.5 hours. And if you're resting about 1 minute in between sets, then your overall workout should be 1 hour. 45-second rest, 45-minute lift. See what I'm saying? So it's the rest time and the total duration. There is a congruency there where they run parallel to each other. Okay, minute rest, hour lift. 45-second rest, 45-minute lift. So that's a generalization. Where there's some fluctuations there, it all depends on your endurance levels and your body's ability to release CO2 and reduce lactic acid. Me, for example, I would consider myself highly, my endurance is much greater than a lot of people who lift for muscle. Reason being, I grew up playing soccer my whole life. I still am very active in terms of running and playing sports, playing soccer. And so my body's ability to release CO2 and deal with lactic acid is very great. And so I can go into the gym and do 30, 45-second rests in between sets and still do 1.5 hour workout. But that is like my max. My body is taxed at 1.5 hours at that pace. And it's a very, very, very demanding, high-paced workout involving cannonball sets, 110 methods, stripping, drop sets, 8x8s, 10x4s, 5x6s. It's extremely intense, heavy, fast-paced, and it's not most people's cup of tea. It's very hard to go that intense for that long. But my body is adapted to it. So I can't say, do this. It really just depends on your body type, and that's why I strongly urge you guys to take what I'm saying and apply it and figure out what's best for you. Because if someone told me, 1 minute rest, 1 hour lift, that sounds great, but that's probably not enough for me. And that just is because my body, it needs to have that high intensity, fast pace to feel like I'm getting the most bang out of my buck, getting the most results out of my energy levels. So give it a go, apply what I'm telling you guys, but like I keep reiterating, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, so those are the generalizations I can give you guys. And probably the greatest thing you can take away from this video is it's about the quality of the minutes in the gym, not the quantity. So there's a balance there, and you have to be constantly asking yourself, am I doing the most that I can and while staying congruent with my goals? Okay, so if you're strength training, You know, you want to be making sure you're hitting those heavy weights and those 1 rep maxes, 1 to 3, whatever it may be as far as reps go. But you also don't want to rest for so long that your body is going into a rested state and it's not activated. The muscles are no longer activated, so you're not going to want to rest for so long. So it's all about finding that balance, and that's where the art comes in. You know, the science is the generalizations I'm giving you guys, where I'm saying, you know, minute and a half rest, hour and a half workout. That's the science behind it, but it doesn't hold any truth or value until you apply the art. And that's after application of these details and information I'm giving you, and then you figure out if that's right for you. So let's keep our goal in mind, and our goal is to create healthy micro tears. Okay, we have M lines, Z lines, which are within the actin and myosin fibers, muscle fibers. Okay, so what we want to do is create healthy micro tears in these muscles. And so let's say this is our muscle. Okay, what's happening through our workouts is we're creating healthy micro tears, and when that happens, our body is pumping blood and glycogen into the muscle belly, expanding the muscle. Okay, and now our muscle is getting enlarged and engorged with the blood and glycogen, expanding the overall size of our muscles, and that's what we want. That equals growth. And what happens after that, when we've created that result, we want to sustain it for X amount of time until our body says that's enough. Then we get out of there and we start the recovery process through proper nutrition and rest. Okay, we don't want to create the healthy micro tears and then continue to tear and then continue to tear and then continue to tear, because what happens is that our body goes through a process of burning energy. And what happens at first is the body's going to burn through our carbohydrates. It's called glycogen. Glycogen is our body storing carbohydrates that we use for energy when we go and apply effort in the gym. So it burns through all of our glycogen storage. After that, what happens is lactic acid is going to start to build up. And this is where our endurance levels come into play. Because if you're on the higher end of endurance capabilities, your body's going to flush CO2 out and lactic acid at a higher rate than if you're in, lesser endurance condition. Your body's going to build lactic acid up quicker. So that's when your workout's going to be shorter. So it really does go congruent with your endurance levels. The better your endurance, the longer you're going to be able to go, generally. So what happens? Glycogen is burned, and then lactic acid is starting to build up. Okay, your body's going to get to a point where it's done. It's going to tell you it's done. Okay, and your body's going to start to feel it. You're probably going to feel a dramatic drop in energy, focus, strength, and you're just going to feel weak. And hopefully you don't cross over to the point where you're nauseous and ready to puke, because that's when you're getting into a fine line of no longer improving yourself. You're actually going into the zone of detriment. And that's what we want to avoid. And this is a hard part, because this is where the art and science also is applied. Where, yes, we need to go in there strong-minded, have our goals, give everything we have. And at the same time, we don't want to overdo it and let our ego come in and tell us, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Because although it feels good internally, in terms of our ego and our pride, and our self-esteem and confidence, what actually happens is a shift there, and we start to hurt ourselves. And so we think we're doing everything we can, and we're getting ahead of the competition by applying more effort and going for a longer time. But it's the exact opposite. Because what happens after lactic acid is starting to build up, our body releases cortisol, a hormone. And the cortisol is going to act as a buffer between, or it's going to act as an activator for our body to start using proteins for energy. And layman's terms, that means our body's going to start breaking down muscle. And it's going to use our muscle for energy, doing exactly what we do not want. The exact opposite of our goals. Where we're trying to build muscle, we're putting in all this effort to build muscle. And we're doing the exact opposite. We get to the point where we're building muscle, and we're like, we're going to keep going because the ego's kicking in, everyone's watching, I'm going to work harder than everyone. And then what happens is the exact opposite. We start going down, and we're no longer building muscle, we're burning muscle, losing muscle, and our efforts are no longer going to pay dividends in the future. They're actually hurting us. So we're getting into debt, and now all of a sudden we're in trouble. And that's where the ego has to just be, sidelined. It has to be sidelined. Okay, we're going into the gym with information so that we can be as intelligent as possible about the way in which we're going about our goals. Okay, don't let the ego set in. It's so important. And it happens a lot. When I first started, guys, I was lifting 2.5, 3 hours every single day because my thought process was telling me if I work harder than everyone, but not only harder, but longer than everyone, what's going to happen is guaranteed results. And I'm going to surpass the competition at an accelerated rate. And no one's going to be able to catch me. And no one's going to believe this fantastic transformation, 3, 4, 5, 6 month transformation going from here to here extremely fast because I was willing to apply all this effort 2 to 3 hours a day. But it took me some time to realize that I was just hurting myself. Where I thought I was going forward, I was going backwards. And that's where we need to become more intelligent and not let the ego override our intelligence and let the people around us in the gym fuel our workouts and distract us away from our goals. I know it's very easy to go into the gym, have a goal, you're going to be 45 minutes in and out, but what happens is, 45 minutes is creeping in and, maybe the ladies walk in. So you're going to do another 10 minutes and you're going to get a little more pumped. New group of ladies come in, you're going to do another 10 minutes. All of a sudden you're at an hour and 5 minutes and you're going over and your body's telling you to stop, but you're trying to please a third party, the external people around you, and you're really hindering yourself, you're deterring your results. So it's extremely important to get in tune with what your body's telling you. Extremely important. That's the art of it. That's the art. The science is telling you 45 minutes to an hour and a half, somewhere in there. But the art is to really dial in, get in tune with what your body's telling you, and have the intelligence to override your ego. Does that make sense, guys? I know I'm kind of all over the place, getting long-winded, but the overall purpose of this video is to let you guys know that you have to first gather the information, apply, see what's best for you, and stick to it. Get in tune with what your body's telling you. Because your body's gonna, if you listen, your body will talk to you and tell you when it's time to stop. Okay? It's okay to stop when it's time. Don't think you're not as much of a badass if you stop. Listen to your body. If you're giving it 100% effort for a sustained amount of time, you should be hitting failure. You should feel extremely tired when you leave the gym, leaving nothing behind. But it shouldn't be, overkill and sustained. There shouldn't be gaps of lost productivity and inefficiency. It should be effective, efficient, sustained time. Get in, get out, create the micro tears, recover afterwards through supplementation, nutrition, and rest. And you can do it the next day. So I hope this helps you guys. I know it's complicated because it is the art and science. But apply everything I said. A minute rest is going to be about an hour workout. 45-second rest is going to be about a 45-minute workout. And then play the factors in. Are you trying to fat burn? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to strength train? Try and figure out what your goals are so you can understand what it takes to get there. And we're not going to the gym blindly, just lifting random weights for 3 hours like I used to do. We're all guilty of it, or at least I am. So I want to at least teach you guys from my experience and let you guys know that it's about the quality of the minutes, not the quantity. So guys, I really appreciate you watching. I hope it was beneficial. I know I went through it fast, and feel free to email me with any more questions. I'm going to do a series that's going to play off of this. So I'm going to dig a little deeper. You know how I touched on the fat burning, the muscle building, and the strength training? I'm going to break those 3 down into 3 separate videos where we attack that. How do we burn fat? Not just from a gym perspective and the duration, the workouts that we do and the sets and the different techniques we can use, but what do we do to eat properly for that and supplement properly? I'm going to do that for each one of those. So muscle building, you know, what exercises, the rep, the set scheme, the supplements, the nutrition. Going to do that. And then same with strength training. How many reps and sets, rest periods, what should we be eating, supplements. So I'm going to break these down, and we're going to get real granular and get real detailed about how we can hit these goals that each one of us have. So stay tuned for that series. It's going to be great, guys. I certainly appreciate you guys watching. Till next time, take care.